everybody, and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel. And this is the Player in Focus show after we did rating the ratings yesterday, rating the ratings from the Express, and we put four players up on Twitter in a poll for people to vote on. I did make a mistake last night. I meant to only put the poll up for 12 hours so I could get this show done this afternoon, and I forgot to change it from it was already set on 24 hours. So that as I'm speaking at the moment, the poll hasn't really finished, but it has already had 3,300 votes. It doesn't often go over 2,500, so I don't think there'll be a lot more votes. And of the 3,300 votes at the moment, Nemanja Matic commands 37% of those votes. Paul Pogba 25%, Marcus 24%, and Edison Cavani 14%. So I think I can pretty safely say that Matic will stay out in the lead, even if his lead might get cut a little. It certainly won't be changed. The leaderboard won't change, I should say. So it will be Nemanja Matic, so I can get the show done this afternoon and get it out there early evening. Before I do go on to the Player in Focus, little bits of news. I watched Liverpool last night, no doubt a lot of others did. It was, couldn't believe the result, a 0-0 draw at Newcastle. And they put a little thing up on Sky saying that they've dropped points against 4 of the bottom 6 this season, which is very unusual over the last couple of seasons. They normally amass so many points against all the teams out. I was about to say outside the Big Six. They even beat most of the Big Six most of the time in the last couple of seasons. So for them to have dropped points against 4 of the bottom 6 this season so far, it really does make you think, are they going to string a run of results together and leave the pack behind? I'm not sure that they are. They have a lot of it is to do with the injury problems, but that's it. But every team has injury problems, and this season it seems to be Liverpool's turn to have a few more injuries than other teams. So fingers crossed we can beat Villa on Friday. That's tomorrow. If we can beat Villa on Friday, we will pull level with them up until they play their game. So that was that game last night. I was interested to see Mo Salah, by the way, broke through twice, 2 one-on-ones with the keeper, and keeper made a decent save from one of them, well, a good save really, and he shot wide on the second occasion. So I was a bit surprised at that, and I don't know if his form's off, because there's been rumours about him being unsettled there, and then suddenly he misses 2 one-on-ones as well, and it just makes you wonder really. Anyway, that's that on the Liverpool game last night. Another big piece of news just come through. Edison Cavani's been banned for his social media post that went out. I'm not sure whether it's right or wrong. He is from a different part of the world, and it was said in a friendly manner. The word that he used between him and a friend, it was a pleasantry rather than something that was aimed nastily at somebody. It seems a bit odd to me that something that's perfectly fine in a different part of the world. Maybe it's about education. He needs to be educated that you can't do those sort of things here. And probably it's right that he gets a 3-game ban, but it is disappointing, and I do feel sorry for him in as much that it wasn't meant in any bad way. It wasn't even a derogatory term as far as he was concerned. So it looks to me as though he's going to miss 3 games in 3 different competitions. I think the way it'll fall, I think it'll take place straight away. He'll miss Villa in the league, he'll miss City in the League Cup and Watford in the FA Cup. At least it means that he will be back and eligible to play against Liverpool. That'll be the next game after that ban, if it starts to take place immediately, which I think it will. And one other quick thing, over the moon that the Premier League have put an announcement out there saying that these rumours are just unfounded, and they're not even discussing having a break in the football, especially when we're more or less in lockdown all over the country now. I'm sure I speak for many thousands of people when I say the football on the TV helps you get through the week really, when you really are stuck for things to do. You can't go out of your house, and there's nowhere to go really if you do go out of your house. So over the moon that the football's going to continue. Right, so the Player in Focus, is Nemanja Matic, and with it being Nemanja Matic, anybody who's followed me over the years, or over the last year or so since I've been on the United stand on Twitter, just over a year now, I would say, will know that Matic is one of my favourite players. So it's not me that does the voting, by the way. I put Matic in the 4. I expected Paul Pogba to win it, to be honest, and I think my second favourite would have been Marcus Rashford. So I am a bit surprised that Matic has run away with that poll. So there's no skullduggery afoot here. The poll is on Twitter and you can have a look at it. So Matic has basically run away with it. So I'm going to take the opportunity to, while I'm going to show a few clips of Matic in the game against Wolves, but I'm going to take the opportunity to address a few things that are often said about Matic as well. These things will come up in these different clips. One that I hear levelled at him a lot is that he holds onto the ball too long. I hear people say that he's too slow, that he passes the ball sideways or backwards too much, that he turns too slowly, that he can't turn. All of these things are all going to come up in these different clips. And one of my favourite ones, something that I've discussed on the United stand on the Sunday night show on more than one occasion, when we talk about tactics and I talk about us needing 2 of those 3 players, McTominay, Matic and Fred. Although I've got to say, Paul Pogba has been more disciplined in the last couple of games that he's played, so I don't mind putting Pogba into that bracket. At first I was thinking of Pogba only as an attacking player, and I was thinking that we needed the 2 holding midfield players all the time, and it's been said to me numerous times on the United stand that we don't need 2 defensive midfield players against certain teams, and I've argued that it's about the positional sense on the field when we're actually on the attack as well, and it isn't necessarily a defensive thought to have 2 defensive midfield players. I'd rather not call them defensive midfield players. I'd rather call them proper midfield players. So that will all of those things will be spoken about as I go through the clips. So it's 5 different things there. I'll leave that there and try and think on to mention them. So clip number 1 is just about simplicity. He receives the ball from Telles from a throw-in, and when he receives it, he could give it back to him, but there's 3 opponents in close proximity. There's one other United player slightly further forward. Telles has just taken the throw-in. Matic has got the ball. And what Matic does is he turns backwards and he gives it to Maguire. He could have given it straight to Telles. If he would have given it straight to Telles, the Wolves players that are in close proximity would have been good positions to close down. And Matic knows that. Matic knows it's a little bit crowded. They call it starting again. Let's turn back and start again. So he turns back, gives it to Maguire, and then the players move. He knows that all you've got to do is pass the ball on a football pitch and players move. So those players move around. And then Maguire gives it back to Matic, and Matic plays it first time to Telles, and Telles, who if he'd just given it him, literally, whatever it is, 3 or 4 seconds earlier, there would have been more Wolves players in that area ready to close Telles down. But by moving it backwards to Maguire, getting it back again, then giving it to Telles, Telles is then in literally oceans of room to get his crossing. You can see it on the clip. So Telles tries to, well, he does swing his crossing, it comes in too low and gets cleared. Now, when you're watching the game live, it's a little bit frustrating. The cross has come in, it's not a very good cross, they cleared it easily, but people will be frustrated with the whole thing. They're not just frustrated with the one person who's made that mistake, because it is a poor cross, but it's great play by Matic. It's so simple, but it's so simple, but so many other players wouldn't do it. Lots of players would have given that ball straight back to Cavani because the pass was on, but it was a bit of a crowded area, and it just would have been more difficult for him to get his cross in. So backwards and sideways passes. Matic goes backwards to go forwards at times, and that's the idea of keeping hold of the ball and picking the right moment to go forward and to try and play somebody into a good position. So it was good play, simple play. But simple play that some other players might not have done. The second clip, I think this brilliantly outlines the discussions that I've had on the United stand about CDMs playing against anybody really. When the clip starts, you'll see Matic probably, I don't know, 10 or 14, 15 yards outside the opposition's penalty area. We've got them pinned back, and we need to keep them pinned back. So they try to clear the ball. The first time they cleared it out of the box, it comes to Matic, and Matic plays a first touch pass to Rashford, and it keeps the pressure on. It keeps us keeping them penned back. So the people that I have argued this with, who say we don't need two defensive midfield players, in this precise instance, as you look at this clip, we've got them pinned back. If Matic isn't there, I mean, where would you want him to be? I mean, he's supposedly a defensive midfield player. Would you want him to be in the box and just leave that space there? Or, you know, I don't get it. That is exactly where you need somebody to be, outside the box, waiting for the ball to come out in order to keep the pressure on them. So although people think of it as a defensive move, it's also an attacking move. If the ball comes straight out to him, first touch, straight back to Rashford's feet, the attack keeps going. We stay on the attack. We keep them pinned back in the final third. Then they try to get out again. Rashford maybe Bruno could be on his toes a bit more, but Rashford gives the ball away for the second time in, I don't know, 5 seconds, 8 seconds. And again, it comes to Matic. This time, Matic plays a first touch pass again, straight to Telles. Because of Matic's position, we can lose the ball, but when I say win it back again, we don't so much win it back again. You're just reading the game. You're in the right position. It's not winning the ball, because people sometimes think, wow, tackling here, tackling there, like some other players do. He's just in the right position. The ball comes to him. He doesn't so much win it as accept it, if you like. He just gets the ball. So again, it's a first touch pass to Telles. So people say, this is another thing now I'm talking about. People talk about him holding on to the ball too long. In this clip, he plays a first touch pass twice in 7 or 8, 10, whatever it is, 7 or 8 seconds. 2 first touch passes. You can't pass the ball any faster than first touch. And what Matic does is he understands when it needs to go first touch. He also understands when it doesn't need to go first touch, and perhaps you need to hold it a bit longer. On this occasion, he plays a first touch pass first to Rashford, gets it again, plays a first touch back pass to Telles, and Telles again swings a crossover. This time it's too high, a little bit loopy, and the keeper grabs it. So he's put Telles into 2 good crossing positions there in a few minutes, and neither of the 2 crosses is really up to scratch. It's not, well, the first one was pretty poor, and the second one was maybe a little bit better, but not much. Clip number 3. In the same position on the field, Matic again keeping them penned in. He receives the ball here for a different reason. You're also offering yourself to a player who needs you. It's not just about being there. If a player's got the ball who's playing for you and is a little bit further forward and he's worried about losing it, doesn't want to take somebody on, he needs somebody who he can give the ball back to. So on this occasion, it's Telles who gives the ball back to Matic. When Telles gives the ball back to Matic, Telles is actually on and available, ready to put a cross in again. Matic could easily give it to him, not a problem. But on this occasion, Matic decides to cross it himself. It crossed my mind. Does he think, well, you've just crossed it twice and they weren't very good? It's 25 minutes into the game, this, by the way, and Matic puts in an absolute peach of a cross that evades Cavani's head. Well, it doesn't evade his head, just gets his head to it, Cavani. If it was at 2 inches lower, perhaps Cavani might well have scored, but he just can't quite get enough purchase on it, and it goes wide. And I've got to be honest, it did cross my mind as Matic even thought, I might as well cross this myself. I'll do a better job myself. And clip number 4. This is quality in his own box now. He receives the ball in his own box, I think, from Harry Maguire, and he starts by carrying it forward. He goes past the man like he's not there, and then he carries it probably 15 yards further forward. And he's carrying the ball, so this is addressing something else about holding onto the ball. On this occasion, he holds onto the ball. He could pass it sooner, but he's got space to run into. And when you've got space to run into, if you draw somebody to you, there's more space for other players on the field. So Matic has beaten one man, so he's taken one man out of the game. Then he runs towards another man. And when that man approaches him, and he's about, I don't know, a yard or two away, 2 yards away from that man, he then passes a simple pass to Bruno to his left. When he passes that ball to Bruno to his left, look at the space that Bruno is in, the time and space that Bruno's got. And then Bruno's got the opportunity to lift his head up, play it wherever he wants to play it. He plays a long ball through to Rashford. I think the flag goes up, to be honest. But on another day, that could lead to a goal. And people underestimate the importance of the players who put players like Bruno into positions like that. We have got other players, other midfield players in our team who are not as composed, who would not run with that ball until there's somebody on them and then pass it, who would pass it a bit quicker perhaps, or perhaps pick a different pass. But Matic shows just consummate ease and class, running out with the ball until somebody's on it, then give it to the man that's in space. And Bruno gets the time and the space to play the ball that he wants to play, because he's playing with a player of the quality of Nemanja Matic in that instance. Clip number 5 is about speed. Adama Traore is regarded by many as possibly the fastest player in the Premier League, and he receives the ball there just inside his own half and gets turned against Matic. He's only got Matic directly in front of him and he fancies his chances. So he tries to go past Matic. Matic turns and runs with him, gets an arm across him, uses his body well, which is what you're supposed to do, and gets him moving slightly to the right rather than straight forward. So he forces him into an area where he doesn't want to go. But you will also see Matic is still keeping pace. He's keeping pace by having used his body and by having gotten his arm across him and making him go at a slight angle. So Traore is running at an angle that way. Matic is running straight. And there's no difference between Traore and Matic. They're keeping level with each other. Because Traore is running at a slight angle, Matic has got an advantage. He's used his strength, he's used his intelligence, and also, without any shadow of a doubt, you've got to have a decent amount of pace just to be able to keep... Look, he wouldn't keep pace with him, fair enough. Don't forget, he's possibly the fastest player in the Premier League, Traore. He's certainly up there. If this was a one-on-one situation where he could knock the ball into oceans of room and then Matic couldn't get his arm across him, he obviously wouldn't keep pace with him. But neither, neither would most players. So Matic does brilliantly, really, to make him go where he wants him to go. But also, if he does come back in field, Traore, Matic is still there. It's not like he's left him for dead. So he's still there. Clip number 6. You'll see a really sloppy pass by Bruno. And tries to win it back, Bruno, but doesn't. And they release Traore. Traore has a run. Matic matches him. Makes him run towards the touchline. Gets his arm across him. More or less bullies him. The ball goes out for a throw-in. And it's a throw-in to United. It's the second. The previous one went out for a throw-in as well. So for the second clip running, we've forced. Matic has basically forced Traore into the area of the pitch where he doesn't necessarily want to go, and we've won a throw-in. He's won the ball back for United with his intelligence and his strength, without even having to touch the ball. Clip number 7. This goes down as an incomplete pass. When you look at stats and pass percentages, they can be so unfair. Matic's pass completion rate, I saw what Statman Dave put up there. I think it was 94 or 96%. It was amazingly high, his pass completion rate from that game. And this clip is going to show an incomplete pass. In the first instance, you'll see that he intercepts the ball in his own box and he carries it out of his own box and he gives it to Pogba. Pogba gives it to Cavani and they're trying to move up the field, and Cavani gives it back to Matic. When Matic gets it, he turns again to go upfield. Again, his way is blocked, and he gives it back to Cavani. Cavani could clear it upfield at this point if he really wanted to. But they're all top players. They're all trying to play football, keep the ball on the floor. So Cavani gives it to Pogba. Pogba gives it again to Matic. Cavani's pass to Pogba is not quite of the standard what you would expect. He's got stretch for it. So when Pogba gives it to Matic, Pogba's struggled to get it to Matic because he's stretching for it. Matic has now turned to face Pogba. He's got his back to the goal and he tries to turn it in front of Pogba again. Now, they've already made, 4, 5, 6 passes. They're trying to play the way out. When Matic receives that ball, it's in a tight area, but Pogba's really close to him. And I believe Matic has got to try to play that ball. Just the little ball round the corner for Pogba to run onto. Wolves player does really well, gets in front of Pogba and wins the ball back. Now that will go down. So obviously, if Pogba would have got onto that ball, it wouldn't be an incomplete pass. And the Wolves player does really well to prevent Pogba from getting onto that ball. And also, it is the pass that Matic has got to play. What I can't abide by is people picking the wrong pass, people playing sloppy passes. And Matic, this will go down against his stats. So his figures are, even though he's got a 94 to 96% pass completion rate, this pass in particular is a little bit unlucky. It is the right pass, it's the correct ball, it is what he's got to do. And it's just that Pogba is beaten to it by a Wolves player, and it's just one of those things. And it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one to sort of assess as to say whose fault is it. Personally, I think it starts to go wrong with a slightly sloppy pass by Cavani, and we never really recover the ball properly again. Pogba and Matic are trying to recover the ball, but never quite do it. But it will go down as an incomplete pass by Matic. Clip number 8, I love this one. He just stepped, Maguire's forcing the defender away from the goal. He's about 15 yards inside United's half, 20 yards perhaps. And Matic steps in front of Maguire's man, uses his body so that the striker who Maguire's marking runs into Matic. Matic has got his back to him, he can't get the ball off him. But there's another man sharp in front of Matic, and Matic just pokes it about a yard to Bruno. It's a pass of about 1 yard, and you don't see too many passes of 1 yard. He uses his strength, his intelligence, and a lovely touch as well. A 1 yard pass, just nice and gently right into Bruno's path. Bruno plays a good ball to Marshall, and it sets up a dangerous attack. But it's a lovely piece of play by Matic, showing strength, intelligence, and a lovely touch. And finally, clip number 9, possibly the best of the lot. From a throw-in by Maguire. Maguire's just let the ball run out, so it's unusual for a centre-back to be taking a throw. But he picks it up quickly and throws it to Matic. When he throws it to Matic, make no mistake, when Maguire is throwing that ball to Matic, he can see Adama Traore. He knows that Adama Traore is in close attention. But he also knows that he's behind Matic. Maguire, absolutely, without a doubt, understands that Matic can take control of the ball and take control of the situation and doesn't deem it too risky. We've got other players, mark my words, who when Maguire picked that ball up and looks and sees who his options are, if it was 1 or 2 other different players that I could name, he would probably not throw it. He would probably put it on the floor, get back into position, let Luke Shaw come and take the throw in. He sees it's Matic, it's 0-0 at this time, we need a goal, and he thinks the risk of giving it to Matic is much lower than it is of giving it to certain other players in the exact same situation. So he throws it to Matic. Matic turns forward, Traore's behind him, directly behind him, but just can't get to the ball. Matic is too big, too strong. He runs forward with the ball. Immediately, there's another player there. He has to touch it past him. He beats that man, leaves him for dead. He's now left Traore behind him. He's left this man behind him. He runs into another man. When he runs into that player, he knows he's got to turn. He checks back and the player is on him. When he checks back, he immediately checks forward again, loses the man really by turning twice, and he zips a ball into Marshall's feet that's absolute class. Accurate, diagonal ball, well weighted, along the turf, sets us up on the attack. It's a quality pass by Matic to Marshall. The pass in itself would be worth mentioning. Apart from the fact that he's received the ball from a throw-in, left the Dharma Traore behind him, beat another man, turned twice. People talk about he can't turn, by the way. He turns twice in a second. Turns twice and leaves that man for dead, and then plays a brilliant pass. It is truly a superb piece of play by Matic. So I think I actually, when I did the ratings from the Express, the Express had given him a 7. They'd only given a 7 to 3 players, I think it was, or was it 4 players they'd given a 7 to. And I agreed with the 7 to Matic. I didn't agree with all the others. And having watched it, and really, it's the 3rd time I've watched the game to be able to do this player in focus show. But when I've watched it this time, I'm concentrating, no matter how many times you watch a game, by the way, to actually realise what a certain player has played like. You need to watch that player, even while you're watching the game. Look, we've all only got the same TV footage to look at. There's no other footage to see except the TV footage, so we all see the same thing. If you've got the game on record like I have, you could do the same thing. So you watch the game and you watch that player, no matter where the ball is. If that player's on the screen, you're watching for that player. You're seeing where he supports, you're seeing when he gets it, you're seeing when he's running back. You just see that player all the time, and then you can make a real, genuine decision as to how that player played. And despite the fact, I mean, I did say on rating the ratings that the Express had given him a 7, and I said it was definitely a high 7, getting, bordering on an 8. And really speaking, I think I've done him a disservice settling on the 7. I did settle on the 7, like the Express had said, but really I should have said he was worth an 8 out of 10, because he was superb in that game. So that's that. That's Nemanja Matic, player in focus after the Wolverhampton Wanderers game that we won 1-0 at Old Trafford with a very, very late goal. I hope we beat Villa tomorrow. It's already Thursday. The games are coming thick and fast, as I say. It's New Year's Eve today, New Year's Day tomorrow. United and Villa is an 8 o'clock kickoff. Desperately hoping for the 3 points. And I also hope that we can get the game put to bed a little bit earlier, rather than having to wait for a 93rd minute winner. I'd love to see us play a little bit better football, create a few more chances against Wolves. Really speaking, in the first half, for example, I think we had 1 clear-cut chance from Greenwood's cross to Bruno. So I'd like us to create a few more chances and hopefully get a goal or 2 before the injury time board comes up. Desperate for those 3 points. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. I know it's difficult times. Everybody's got to celebrate at home, really, and you can't have friends round. I hope you can all have as good a time as you can. Have a great evening. Wishing you all a great new year. I hope 2021's miles better than 2020. Surely it can't be as bad. If you've enjoyed that show, please tell all your friends. Please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anybody. Keep stum.